Previously on Bishop's Garage.
What we're going to do today is we're going to work on our 1964 Thunderbird. We have a couple of issues. There was an attempt to start the car, which ended up, well, let's just say frying something. We have a new voltage regulator. We have our starter motor. It's a relay switch, as well as a new coil. Well, here's our new one, Motorcraft. Well, we put some gas down our throat, and what we're going to need to do now is see where our electrics are failing us. It looks like the fuel pump's working just fine. I got some fuel in the fuel filter. So we're going to check the voltage at the coil to see whether or not we have 12 plus volts sitting on there while it's in the running position, and then we'll see what kind of voltage we get on either side when it's in the crank position, and we'll go from there. We've replaced a bunch of our parts here. Turns out that we're needing to replace the distributor. So I'm going to show you how I do this. May not be how you do it, or somebody else more professional may do it, but this is how I do it, and it works for me. So watch. This is our existing distributor. You can see it's red. It's an electronic one on the inside, so instead of having points and condenser, it has that all electrified, so it's super easy to set up. What I need to do is take off the hot lead and the ground lead from their coil here, which go into the innards of this. Then I need to number each one of these just to make sure that I get them in the proper order. And I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to actually go 1, 8, 3, whatever, 5, 7, 6, yeah. Once I get those numbered, I will take the new cap and I will put that here, and I'll just transfer them over one by one, mark where my rotor is sitting, undo the bolt, pull the old distributor out, take the new one, use engine assembly oil on the new gear and the O-ring, put it down in, lock it down, make sure it's pointing in the same direction. I should be able to put the cap on, make sure that the numbers are good, and it should start right up. Let's get to this. Better. 4. This would be 5. Now I use painter's tape because that comes off easy, doesn't leave gooey stuff behind. So this would be 7. And yep, this one is 8. So the black wire for your distributor, electronic distributor on most of them, is for your negative. The red goes on your hot. Most of these electronic distributors are just 2 wires. If they have more, that's because they probably support a tachometer, which we don't have on here. So this is red from our ignition, and this red goes to the distributor. All right. That's an easy one to find. This is our new distributor, flamethrower, by Protonics. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yes. This works on an FE390. That's what we have here. This is for our vacuum advance. These are the 2 wires I spoke of. So let's get the cap off of here first and transfer the wires. What we do is we kind of line up where the other distributor was, kind of look at the angle of your vacuum advance, line it up with the old one, see where the caps sit, and to me, it looks like, ooh boy, that's close. It looks like we're going to start with our number 1 right here. It's pretty close. It's slightly off. That would be more of where it is, but you know, that's maybe 10 degrees. We'll be fine. So this one will go here. Then the one I marked is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll get the cap off of here. And the cap off of here. So it looks like our 1 is going to start here. So I'm going to just put a 1, big mark on that, so I know that that's the 1 on the cap. So when I go like this, I still know that that mark that's there, if you can see that, Right there, that's where our 1 is going to start. All right, so our 1 will go to the 1. All right. The second one, go to our 2. You may find you need to loosen your wires or remove them out of your looms to get this done right. Third one, marked as 3. And make sure these are all the way down. There we go. There's our 4th one. Our 5th one, marked 5. Sixth one, marked 6. These may have to be a little like that. There we go. Then we have 7 and 8. 7. And 8, our last one. All right, so we have the distributor cap wired properly the way the old one was. That's assuming your old one was wired properly. I'd recommend you look up the firing order and check that. All right. So this here is the vacuum advanced hose, which we will pull off of the old distributor if it's going to let us. May need some pliers for that. All right, vacuum advance is off. Okay, so we're really close to doing this. What I need to do is take the old cap off now and see where our rotor is pointing. Okay, we can see it's pointing this way, right here. So what we will do is we will mark with our pen on the nearest thing we can mark. So we know exactly where to put that. So it's coming straight out here. I'm going to mark on this hose. Just like that. You can't see it, but I'm just putting a little mark with a dot at the top. Well, I'll show you. All right, so you can see right there. It's a little arrow, and it points directly, if we're looking straight up here, points directly at that. So when we put our new one in, we want to make sure it's pointing directly at the very point of that triangle. So now it looks like we can probably do that with a 1/2-inch socket. You might be able to see this, where I'm going to put this 1/2-inch wrench down here on our bolt. Of course, my hands are in the way now. Yep, 1/2 inch worked fine. Now, as you're undoing this, you want to make sure you do not, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. You can move the distributor now that we have it marked. Doesn't really matter. All right, there's our bolt. There's our hold down. And our distributor can now come straight out. Give it a little twist. You can see when it comes out, it turns just a little bit of degree. And there we go. You can see here is the O-ring. Here's the old one. There's the O-ring that we're going to want to clean. Wow, is that a rock? And this is the gear that we're going to want to make sure we put assembly lube on. It's cold out here, by the way. It is 30 degrees. Yeah, it could snow. So we take a quick look here, make sure there's no rocks or debris that are going to fall in here or be in the way of the of this pressing down cleanly on there. We're good. All right. This is what I use, assembly lube. Works good. Take some, put it in my hand. We'll put that on the new gear. And on the O-ring. We're going to want to put a lot more on there. Squish it good in between the teeth. We want this to survive on this first start. Make sure we're good. We have some around here. Okay.
Stop right there. All right, take a look at that clip. That one that's hanging off the back. Yeah, that one right there. That is going to come haunt me in just a few minutes. So what I would recommend when you're doing this, make sure that those clips are in the upright position before you do any installation.
All right, so dropping this in is not dropping. So let's see. You'll see as I push down on this, this will turn a little bit. Oh, we're still not quite there. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pull that again slightly out so you can see that go down in. You can see as I pull it up slightly, I want to aim it slightly counterclockwise to our mark. And when I push it down in, see if I can get you to see if you can see it move. As I push it down in its last little bit. There. If you saw it move, that's good. And it is pointed exactly at our spot. You can see that it's lined up with the dot. So we have our distributor in, it's lined up properly, and honestly, it's pretty academic now. We just put the cap on and tighten the clamp down to make sure the distributor doesn't pop out, and wire up the ground and the hot, and we should be ready to start this. I just need to unthread the wires here that it came with. The wires they provided are plenty long for your application, for sure. Because some people's coil might be way over there at the other side of the engine. Almost forgot. The second, luckily I marked it, the second marking you want to do is to mark where the vacuum advance is currently sitting, because that's how you will adjust your timing. See if we can get that moved far enough away. Nope. Well, that was a mistake. So I put the distributor down in here and blocked the clamp. So now I got to pull it all back out again. Take two. And our clamps back on. All right. So we put our main on here from our coil. All right. And now let's get our hot lead from our ignition. Now we just need to right size these. We'll cut them right about there. How about I get a nice pair of cutters? Really? Wow, those are the second pair of worst cutters. This is also a good time to talk about good wiring. A lot of people will just use a press-on clamp. There's examples right here That may be good for a short term, but water and stuff can creep up into that. I will fix that at some point. What we're going to do, use shrink tubing. Put that on there first. Then we will put our end on there. I use a nice crimper like this that is color coded. You can see where the colors are. Maybe. Yellow, blue. Red, blue, yellow. We're using red. And it squeezes it down the perfect amount. Give it a test pull. That's good. This shrinks it down. It does two things. It holds it super tight, and it creates a seal so crap doesn't get in there. Then I slide the tube over the end. Ooh, that's hot. I'll use the wrong size tube. There we go. We'll go with the red. I'll show you how it works on this other one. So we'll use the red. Slide our end. All right. Crush it. There is a way to crush these. I always use, there's a seam on here and it's solid on that side, so it's kind of like a crushed loop already. And so where the seam is where I put this part of the crusher, not the valley. The valley is where the solid side goes. The seam is on this other side. And then when you crush it, you get a nice good even seal. Let's go ahead and shrink it. All right. Slide our shrink hose over it. And then we just do the rest to the length here. It makes a good solid seal that's not going to leak on you. No elements are going to get up in here, no corrosion. Actually adds a measure of strength to this. All right, snugged. All right, so we are about ready to start this. So I'm going to go get an extra set of hands to start this, so I can adjust the timing as necessary to make sure we get a decent idle out of it. All right. Well, I guess it helps to check to make sure the video is on. Well, I moved all of the spark plug wires one spot over, turned our distributor cap so we got a better, wider range of hand adjustment of the timing. Started instantly right up. You can hear it's running smooth. So I'm going to go ahead, fiddle with the timing slightly a bit more, just make sure we're dead on with what the book says, and anchor it down, and we're good. Thanks. Gotta love it.